Hi, ladies. Welcome to another episode of the Femalepreneur Coach podcast. I'm so excited for today's episode, and I'm actually live streaming into the Fempreneur Society because what I'm going to be sharing with you is absolute gold dust. And as I just said in the group, as I kind of prime them for why is she talking like that? It's for me, one thing that I feel really passionately about as a woman is about helping other women to rise. So it's not just even about me. And I think that's why, as a coach, I just feel I kind of don't coach in the typical way because it's not just about me. It's not about look at me, look at my results, da 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 da. It's all about collectively as a species, as women together, we need to be able to rise together. And that comes from really helping each other, sharing knowledge, networking, collaborating, all of the things. These are things that men are so good at doing intuitively and have been doing historically for years. And I believe that that is why they are so successful and we're not. So that's kind of, what I'm going to be going through today, because I had the most incredible time. It was amazing. So for anybody that hasn't obviously caught up on my journey or hasn't listened to last week's podcast yet, I went on a luxury in-person 4-day retreat to LA, America, which was just truly mind-blowing. And I was always that kid actually when I was younger that loved a school trip, because I am just so bought into the idea and the reality that when you take yourself out of your physical environment, incredible shifts can happen, because we are creatures of habit. That is fact. I'm an NLP practitioner, that's fact. So our brains automatically work on a loop and repeat system because it just conserves energy. 90% of our thoughts, so we have something like 70,000 thoughts in a day, and 95, probably 99 actually, % of those will be the exact same thoughts from the day before, because it just saves our brains and our bodies energy. And that's how habits are formed. That's how personality traits are formed, because we are just essentially running the same programming. So the best thing that you can do when you really want a quantum leap in your results and a massive shift in your mindset and your reality is to take yourself out of your physical environment. That is the best thing that you can do. So they always say the breakdown before the breakthrough, and I believe a lot of the time that is because something drastic has happened in our immediate environment. Maybe we've split up with a partner, maybe we've lost a job, maybe we've done something that has essentially disrupted our whole way of being, our whole thought process, and we are now suddenly open to so much possibility that wouldn't have even entered our consciousness before, because we are just playing that same old loop and of thoughts, patterns, beliefs, actions, all of those things. So I'm totally here for it. And as I said, when I was a kid, I used to love going on school trips and staying with family, because it would just take you out of that immediate environment and give you a completely different experience of life. So for me, this was something that was just a non-negotiable. So I know, yes, I have 5 children. Yes, I'm a single parent. Yes, I'm a mother. Yes, I've got a business, multiple businesses to run. And I had every excuse not to go. And yes, it was a lot of money, but I just knew that this is going to be the game changer for me. So I've been looking, some of you will know, on my journey for a massive shift, because ever since I had the baby, ever since, I had COVID, and even just working from home day in, day out, it's very easy for energy to get stuck. It's very easy for you to kind of retreat backwards into victim mode, into scarcity mindset. You really aren't tapping into the potential. This is why working with a coach is so important, and so powerful, because if you aren't able to completely change your whole immediate environment, bringing in a fresh pair of eyes, brand new energy, somebody who is not going to let you fall back into that old programming and conditioning and rinse and repeat belief systems, is gold dust, because they will be the people that will help you to really question every aspect of your life. And that's where true change happens at a quantum level. So we're not talking about subtle shifts over time. This is for somebody who really wants that quantum shift, who is ready to get so far away from where they are currently, and they are here for it. So that's kind of where I was, and that's why it was a complete non-negotiable for me. So I arrived in LA the night before the retreat happened, and really landed hard into this whole immersive experience. I was staying at a hotel where most of the women who were joining me, so there were 40 women, and there was a really great group of us staying in this hotel. It was just incredible to be enveloped, like just fully supported by these beautiful women who were also here for that same experience, who were also leaving families, investing time, investing money, that were just completely bought in that this is, you know, I am here to fully get the most of this from this experience. That was really nice to be in, just in that safe space, because you knew that nothing was off the table. You know, you couldn't say anything that was going to upset anybody, anything that was going to shock anybody. And obviously being in a room of coaches, again, another group of women that were going to reflect back to you conversations, beliefs, patterns, thoughts that were coming out of your mouth. They were there to reflect back at you and challenge you and just really give you a fresh perspective on why you thought that or why you were saying that. I mean, can you imagine anything better than being in a room of supportive, heart-led women that are also coaches? I mean, talk about jackpot. It was incredible. So the first experience was it was a guy called Youssef, and I'm really sorry because I don't have his surname, but he is essentially a tantric healer and coach. Yes, ladies, tantric. So I was kind of like, okay, I don't know what this is about. But it was, yeah, so it was really exciting. It was all the things that you would expect it to be around tantric, typically related to sex. It was challenging, it was thought-provoking, it was expansive, it was exciting, it was funny, it was all of the things, which was super exciting. And one of the exercises that he took us through, which was really powerful actually, he got us to write down one goal that we have right now. So one goal, what are you here for? What do you know? And you can imagine I'm surrounded by women who are earning 6, 7, 8, and 9 figures in their business. So this is basically a retreat that was aimed at women that are already very established in their business, that are here to really change the world, which is obviously why I was there, and already very successful financially, but perhaps looking at that next level of growth. So what you'll find is that once your basic needs have been met as it relates to money, it's no longer such a driving factor. It's more about creating impact. It's more about having more visibility. It's more about having more time freedom. It's more about being connected to your work, and perhaps also healing for yourself. As a woman, we obviously hold on to so much trauma through our ancestry, through societal conditioning, through our family, our epigenetics, all the things. So again, these sorts of spaces are so important. And I guess I had thought initially it would be a lot of strategy, because I am used to working in my masculine energy. And I thought, well, obviously they're going to want people to get a return on this investment. So it's going to be very much high level strategy. And that's kind of what I went for. But I was also here for the immersive experience and being out of my immediate environment. But it was completely opposite to that. There was no strategy. And I guess that's my one biggest takeaway, is that what I've realized is when you get to that next level of success, strategy is kind of irrelevant, because you already know to a certain extent what you're doing. Intuitively, you must be already be somebody that kind of knows what's working in your business. And the reality is, if you want more success, just do more of what's working. You know, you can add funnels, you can do all the things, but ultimately, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that was kind of my first takeaway, that I've realized it's not about strategy. It's all around mindset, all about energy. Absolutely. It's all about connecting to your higher vision and higher purpose in your business, because that will be what takes you to that next level. It's about amplifying that vision, increasing your visibility, increasing your impact, all of the things. But just to circle back on the exercise that he took us through, the first thing was write down your goal. So again, first thing, right, money goal. That's what I'm here for. I want to make money. I want to have more consistency. I want to create more impact. And then the next thing that he wanted us to write down was, how do you want to feel once you've achieved it? So obviously, you know, what I'm thinking, what does money represent to me? empowerment, it's freedom, it's safety, it's feeling expansive, it's exciting, it's all of these things. And then the third thing was, when do you want to achieve it? So obviously, for me, I'm like, yesterday. So he started going through and obviously asking us to share our goals. And it was very similar. It was, yes, I want to hit this milestone. Yes, I want to go to this place. Yes, I want to do this thing. And then he was like, okay, that's a really great statement, not a goal. Okay, that's a really great statement. That's a really great idea, not a goal. And I was a bit like, what? I got a bit confused, and I'm a mindset coach. I was a bit like, well, if that's not the goal, what is? I don't get that. Is the goal, because that's the conduit to everything else. That it's not about the money, but it's about what it unlocks and what it enables us to do elsewhere in our life. And he was like, actually, what the goal is number two. It's how do you want to feel once you've achieved it? That is the ultimate goal. So if the ultimate goal represents freedom, expansiveness, excitement, if that's ultimately how you want to feel once you've achieved it, that is the goal. It's that freedom, it's that emotion, it's that state that ultimately that's what you're striving for. Because otherwise it's so fleeting. If you want to achieve a number in your business, once you've done it, it's like, okay, it no longer excites you, it no longer makes you feel expansive. It just is, it's done. And to just have those kind of goals is actually really sad, because you want to continue feeling expansive. As spiritual beings, we are always here about that growth, and that's why it's so important to work on your growth mindset every single day, not just when you're in the run up to something, like a launch or trying to hit that next level of income. Every single day, you should want to feel free. You should want to feel safe. You should want to feel expansive, and everything that initial goal represents to you. So that was a really beautiful exercise, and I would love for you to do that, because it was just beautiful. We also had a session with a lady who is a healer for women in business, but next level. These are your multi-millionaire, billionaire business owners, execs, CEOs, COOs, all of the things. She works with some real absolute powerhouses in Hollywood and around the world, actually. She was just fantastic. And what I kind of took away from that session, because what she was trying to do was obviously, again, get us to connect from within, really find our power, amplify our voice, and also heal trauma. So a lot of things for us, when you think of the word trauma, what will come up is, perhaps something that happened in our childhood. It will be something that, is a significant moment in our life. And when we talk to others, if you haven't experienced huge trauma in your life, you can feel like, well, I haven't really got anything to connect to or to heal. I'm good. And sometimes when I've worked with clients, they've come with that mindset that I'm good. I actually had a pretty good upbringing and da 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 da. But what I've realized is, firstly, that trauma happens in your business each and every day, and we need to recognize that. So if you have a launch that fails, if you have a sales call and somebody says no, if you get a negative comment on your Instagram, even though it's, your logical brain is like, okay, well, it is what it is, let's shake it off, don't worry about it. Internally, that is still a trauma to your body. That's still something that will have knocked you out of alignment. That's still something that would have felt ick and would have manifested in some sort of stuck energy in your body. And trauma is trauma. It's relative to you. So even if, I know clients that when we've worked under hypnosis, what's come up is, my mum shouted at me when I was younger. And actually, in the grand scheme of things, it probably isn't considered a trauma. But in that moment, as a child, it's jarring to your senses. It's scary. It's loud. It would have been perceived as a trauma. So we need to recognize that and honor ourselves for the journey that we've been on as women, that even if, our logical brain is telling us to shake it off, move forwards, get on with it, all of those things, don't instead, because it will just be storing up in your body. It will be manifesting, it will be festering. Instead, heal that trauma, do the work, breathe through it, journal, reflect, do the forgiveness work, give your body time to honor that journey, and just, celebrate what an absolute incredible being that you are, that you have experience this but still move forward. So that was fantastic. Another thing that, again, just kind of feeds into everything that I already know and believe around energy and who you surround yourself with. One thing that my mentor was really keen to impress on us was that the container that we were in. So we were in a beautiful luxury mansion in the Hollywood Hills. It was absolutely gorgeous. Obviously a boys' home because it was very masculine, hardly any furniture in there, very like masculine, sterile, but it was just, you know, just exuded abundance and wealth. And she was saying that so many celebrities have come through that house. The guy that owns it is essentially a talent manager. So he's launched the careers of Selena Gomez and Kendall Jenner and Justin Bieber, or had a hand in Justin Bieber, and he's helped develop businesses for people like Paris Hilton. And obviously, you know, my mentor's there and some of her close network of women who are also those 7 and 8 and 9-figure business owners. So she said, don't negate the fact that you're in this home, you're in this energetic space, you will be absorbing this, you know. And straight away, while I was there, I had a client that paid £5,000 just like that. Wasn't expecting the payment. It came through. Thought we were going to do a payment plan. She was like, no, I figured it out. I got resourceful. It's paid in full, done, boom, in your bank. And I have to say that that's got to be testament to the energy that I had surrounded myself with. And the lady that was the intuitive healer had actually said, this is a sacred vortex. I'm going to be supercharging it. We all had to put down things in a corner of the room. So what she shared was that when in your house, I think the furthest left-hand corner as you enter the door, that is the most abundant corner of your house. You can do the same thing. Set up a sacred vortex of abundance. So really put your energy and your intention and focus into creating wealth and abundance in your life. And we know that wealth and abundance isn't just money, it's an abundance of whatever the hell you want. So whether that's love, whether that's energy, whether that's opportunity, nature, whatever feels good to you, peace, whatever feels good to you, you can create and amplify more of it with that abundance vortex. Essentially, you can create in your own home. So obviously another takeaway that I want to share with you, because I have absolutely done that once I've got home, because I think we negate the power of the space that we're in every day. This is why, as a wealth activator or money mindset coach, I tell my clients inside the Millionaire Mindset Bootcamp, one of the practical steps that you can take today is remove all of the symbols of scarcity in your life right now. So if you've got things in your house that are just reminding you that you are not where you want to be right now in life, so whether it be a broken drawer or clothes that don't fit or something that needs repainting, properly touching up, do it, because it will be stealing your joy. It will be depleting your energy. It will be eliminating and reducing the opportunities that you have to make more money if all you're getting are constant reminders in your physical environment that you are not where you want to be. So, and also there's a lot of symbolism in doing that. It's saying, I am worthy of living in a beautiful home. I am worthy of being abundant. I am worthy of surrounding myself with nice things. So even if in your head you're like, but there's a cost association. So one thing that I do is buy fresh flowers every week, because I love flowers, particularly roses, as you can tell with my beautiful backdrop. It brings me joy. It puts a smile on my face. They smell amazing. I'm sure there's all sorts of healing properties relating to plants. And it just brings me joy. It really does. And you can spend £2 on a bunch of flowers, or you can spend, the sky's the limit, really, isn't it? Like £100 on a bunch of flowers. Meet yourself with where you're at right now. If for now it is just £2 worth of flowers in Asda, in your supermarket, that's going to make you feel really amazing. As you come into that house every day, it's going to bring you joy. Then bloody do it, because your joy is worth it. And that was definitely something that I took away, because you felt that energy. It was much easier as we're going through conversations around money, around wealth, around, you know, certain degree around strategy. It was so much easier to believe that it was possible when you're sitting in a luxury retreat, you know, beautiful mansion in the Hollywood Hills. It's a little bit harder to have these conversations and really think bigger and be expansive if you're not in that container. So I definitely felt that energy, absolutely. So I'm trying to think of some of the other exercises that we did that would probably be relevant. Other than that, it was really around hot seat coaching, and there was one actually other exercise that was really fantastic, which was, and this was with Yusuf again. I will find his details and I'll pop them in the show notes, because oh my god, what a beautiful energy. And it was just so lovely, I think, as well. And some of my audience, my podcast listeners, won't necessarily resonate with this because they are American, but coming from Britain, we are so held back by our own inhibitions. Even just walking into the room of 40 women who do not know each other from Adam, you know, we may have seen each other on a few calls, we may have, you know, got a bit of sort of, you know, bit of communication or dialogue going if we're staying in similar hotels, and those sorts of things, very transactional conversations. But when you walk into a room, a massive expansive room like that, and you see these 40 women, it's straight away your guard goes up to a certain extent. It's almost like, well, I'm here as a coach, I'm here as a brand, I'm here as a business, I need to be on the whole time. Yeah, we literally got rid of that in like the first 20 minutes, because like emotional releases were happening. People were crying, ugly, snotty tears, all the things. And you need that to break down those barriers. I think Americans are much more forthcoming, much more tactile, much more open to just turn up as their most authentic self, whereas us Brits kind of you know, are more reserved and a bit quieter, and you kind of got to work for it, for those deeping, meaningful conversations. You've got to kind of suss people out before you really disclose anything of any meaning. But this guy Yusuf was just beautiful, straight in hugs. It was amazing. And you know, straight away, first of all, I was a bit like, oh. And then I was like, no, this is amazing. I'm going all in. I'm all in on this experience. I'm absolutely going to enjoy it. So that was fantastic. But one thing that he got us to do, which was just so powerful, was really like tune into yourself, ladies. And if you could, you know, really think about it as a physical representation, what barriers are you putting up in your life right now to keep people away from you? Now, this could be a protective thing. And for some of us, we discussed it afterwards, because the whole process was essentially removing this armor and these physical barriers to letting people in, to being more visible, to being our most authentic self, to speaking our truth. Now, I know, obviously, as a feminine energy leader, that particularly as women, this is something that we do. We struggle to speak our truth, because through our ancestors, anybody that's read The Witch's Wound will know that we have been persecuted at every stage of history for speaking our truth. Then if you add in, you know, patriarchal and societal conditioning to be a good girl, be quiet, be compliant, to be nice, to be liked. And I am sure that you have your own prejudice and bias when you think of things like Devil Wears Prada. All the female bosses, female leads, women that are making money are bitches. They're mean, they're not nice, they're not collaborative, they're unhappy. You know, when you think of all of this conditioning that's gone into your brain, it's very easy to see why we as women feel like we need to wear armor, metaphorically, to kind of protect ourselves and to stop people from really seeing the true us, because we want people to like us. So what he asked us to do was to work with a partner, which again was just absolutely beautiful, because, and to essentially, as a visual representation, describe what that armor looks like. So for me, and this is obviously very personal, but for me, I definitely had some armor around. I had like a shawl on. That's the only way I could describe it, was like an old lady straw. Because I think there is a part of me, obviously anybody that's been through any physical trauma will understand this, but there's a part of me that wants to hide my body, that wants to protect myself, that wants to shield myself, and just kind of play small. And even though I've had therapy, and even though I've been through a journey and had transformation, it still lingers inevitably. And with anything, it is always about a journey and taking off one layer, and then another one may come up for you, and removing that. But you've got to be committed to doing the work. This is why when my clients work with me, it's never a one and done. It's about really deep diving, doing the really uncomfortable work. So for me, I've always feel like I've got like a shawl on, you know. So what he asked us to do was, as a pair with another woman and with your permission, is actually like energetically and physically remove that armor, whatever that was. So the lady that I was working with, I mean, oh my God, we were absolute messes by the end of it, because sometimes you don't realize, and it's not until you really acknowledge it to yourself, but also to someone else, that actually, yeah, I do feel still some kind of way. I do feel like, even though I may be, loud and bubbly and an excitable person, I still have a mask on as it relates to my face, because there's still things and parts of me that I don't feel that I can express, because I don't want to not be liked. And that's something definitely for me is a growth point. And I think you'll notice, for anybody that stays with me on my journey, that is going to continue to uncover. I'm going to be, move a little bit more into my masculine, because that is my natural state. And I've definitely, kind of swung one way to my feminine, but equally I need to kind of find that balance in the middle about my masculine as well. And yes, that means uncomfortable truth sometimes. But that's my personality. If I say it, I see it. And it's done from a place of love, and it's done with a genuine intention to help. But what I've found in the past is that it's not always been received well. And particularly as women, you can actually be persecuted and ostracized from a group if you are the one that is always bringing the truth bombs, if you are the one that is not enabling helpless behavior. As a coach, that, and you'll find this that most coaches, it's like, it's innate, it's in your energy, you've always been this person, you've just found a way to channel it, and that's through coaching. So for me, I've always been the person, and it may be perspective, it may be because I've been through so much trauma in my life that it's given me a really great grounding and gratitude for the moment, for what is amazing. I've let go of things that I can't control. And I've also got a great deal of perspective as to, where you feel right now you're stuck in a situation. It's not forever. Things will pass. Everything passes. Everything gets better eventually with time. So when I've had friends who are very much in a learned helplessness victim state, if I'm the one that's coming to them and saying, I'm going to call you out on bullshit right now, this isn't your reality. Actually, you are very capable, and actually you are able to do things about your situation. I'm not the one in any circle that you come to if you really want to just sit and wallow in it and like, poor me, I'm so sad, don't you think it's so awful? I'm not that girl, because I've never been able to be that girl for myself. I've always, I always joke, but I've never had time or been in a position in life where I can have a breakdown, because I've always had responsibilities. But equally, I'm grateful for that. So I've always loved my ability to be resilient and keep it moving, because it's always enabled me to really find creative solutions, to show myself what I'm capable of, to be empowered, and to know that, like I say, nothing lasts forever. So therefore, I don't kind of tolerate that in others, because I don't want to perpetuate that cycle. So when someone comes, you come to me when you need a solution, when you're ready to heal, when you're ready to move forwards, when you've made that decision that you are ready to move forwards, and you want to kind of figure it out. I am that girl. You come to me, we have a cup of tea, we have a wine, and we figure all that shit out, and we move forwards and we go. That's the person I am. But in a friendship group and in relationships and in the workplace, not always been well received. So what I realized through that exercise was, as much as I'm stepping out of, myself a little bit more lately, there's still some work to do. So what we did as a pair was energetically remove that armor. And the release that we got, so anybody that practices Reiki, anybody that knows about the power of healing and energy and that sort of thing, will really understand the shift that happened. I mean, we were an absolute mess, like, no, full cards on the table. I have never cried so much in front of other people, and I'm really not a crier. I think, again, part of my growth, because when crying is a release, it's an emotional release, you have to go through it. And it's actually like my brother, it's really offensive, but he used to always say to me, it's like a fart, better out than in, and I die, but it's true, it is true, better out than in, ladies. So if you feel like you need to cry, then cry. That is your body saying, I am ready for that emotional release, I am ready to let it go. So, and I love the symbolism of the fact that it was women helping each other to remove our armor. Like, it literally makes me emotional now thinking about it, because it's just so bloody beautiful. And I want more of that in the world, rather than holding each other back, rather than being triggered by each other. Let's help each other. Let's be the change that we want to see in the world. So that was just beautiful. And that those exercises probably were just, for me, the biggest shift. Definitely those activities were the biggest shifts for me during that time. But one thing that kept happening, and I was really open to the universe, and I just said, I set the intention. So when we set the intention, when we have power, when we make a decision, powerful things happen. Like, the universe is waiting for you at any time and any point, ladies. It really is. So I set the intention when I was on the plane on my way. I was like, I am open to whatever it is that the universe wants me to receive, whether that's downloads, whether that's guidance, mentors, connections, relationships, money, strategy. I am here for all of the things. I'm ready to go all in. And that's why when people they pay attention. And this was a huge investment for me. So that's why I've come back and actually increased my prices on my one-to-ones, because I only want to work with the women that have that mindset, that are ready to go all in, and I want them to pay attention. And you best believe the amount of money that I've poured into mentoring this year. I am on every call, I am actioning every step, I am doing everything that is asked of me, because I am ready. I have made that decision that I am here to do big things. I did not come this far to only come this far in life. I have been through too much for it not to have been for a purpose. And I'm ready. Like, I accept that calling and I'm ready. So I set the intention that I would be open to whatever came. And something really beautiful happened. So the mastermind was split into two levels. So one was the accelerator, which are the women that are typically making six figures, which is where I am. But there is also another layer, which is the elite. So this is for the women that are already millionaires, that are making 7, 8, and 9 figures in their business. And we were all kind of together. So what kept happening? Well, thank you, universe, for that nudge. Because what happened was, every time there was an opportunity to gather, so whether it be on the mats, on the sofas, during coffee, during lunch, at dinner, and at the table, every time I went to go and sit down, the only spaces that were available to me were with the elite. Let that resonate. So at the table in the evening for dinner, and I always say, like, I want that seat at the table. And that's, again, why I went to that retreat. I wanted to be in the room with highly successful women, because I knew that would be like they always say, if you're in a room and you are the most abundant, the smartest, the most successful person in that room, you are in the wrong room. And for a long time, I have been the biggest fish in my pond, like, obviously, as a business owner, even as a mother at home, like, I'm kind of the queen of all things. I wanted to be in a room where I felt uncomfortable, where I didn't feel quite as at the same level as everybody else. I wanted to feel that, because that is me then being able to grow into that container. And the universe was like, I see you, bitch, I've got you. So at every table, I was always sitting with the elite, and it blew my mind, because obviously I'm a money mindset coach. So one of my ambitions is to write a book and really lean in and interview wealthy women and understand the psychology of what separates somebody from being broke to being super rich. So not just, quite well off and safe and comfortable, but absolutely more money than they would ever know what to do with. And the funny thing was, there actually isn't that much that separates them. They have the same insecurities as the women in the six-figure mastermind. It was all around, how do I get to my next level? And there were certain elements of, how do I make this a bit easier? How do I have more time freedom? How do I scale? How do I get more visibility? But they were still, like, that journey is never ending. They were still looking for the next thing. The only thing that was really different was that there was no emotional charge to the amounts of money that they were talking about. When they were saying, oh yeah, I did this launch and I added this thing and it added like 60 grand. No, like, yeah, they were like, oh, okay, amazing. Like, yep, da, 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 da. There was no like, what? How much? Are you kidding? There was literally like, it was no big deal. That was the only difference. And that to me was just fascinating, because the work that I do in the Millionaire Mindset Bootcamp is all around removing the emotional charge from money, from healing the past traumas that we've got around money, so that we can be neutral to it. So it can be no big deal. So we can be a conduit to receive it without it feeling like, ah. So it just is. it just, I don't even know how to explain it any more than that, but just so it is, so that we are receiving, it comes in, it goes out, it's energy, it flows, we can attract more and more of it, and it's no big deal. And that was basically like cementing everything for me, which was super exciting. So I've come back and really leaned into that work. So you'll notice like my bio's changed on Instagram to wealth activator, because it's entirely true. If I can get somebody to a 6-figure business, there is no reason why I can't get them to a £1 million business. There's absolutely no fucking reason why that can't happen and why that isn't available to you right now. So take this as a really exciting time that actually we can 10x your results, we can 20x your results, because the strategy to get from one to the other is exactly the same. The conversations, the work is exactly the same. The only thing that is holding you back right now is you. And I mean that with love, and I mean it in the most exciting way, because if you are the only person that's stopping you from that, once we've done that work, the sky's the limit. And that is essentially what was cemented with me, by sitting at those tables and listening to those conversations. And even one of the ladies that I spoke with, who was earning like over £1 million, I asked her a question, and she was talking about the next level and this and that, and kind of started instantly negating some of the success that she wanted around, but I don't care if I don't make money on this, and I don't care, like, I'm not worried about that. I don't need like a low ticket. I don't need a this, a da 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 da. And I said to her, where is the resistance coming from in you that is stopping you from achieving that next level of income? And she literally nearly fell off her chair. She was like, what do you mean? And I said, I'll ask the question again. And she was like, do you know what? No one else has ever asked me that question. No one else has ever asked me that question. She was blown away by it. She was like, because I've always been successful. I've always made good money. So no one's ever asked me why I would want more, why I would want to serve more, why I would want to do more. It was always like, well, you're making 6 figures, so you're good. Well, you're making $1 million, so you're balling. Like it was like, just energetically, she'd kind of just accepted that this was going to be her plateau, but she should be totally grateful with where she is right now and not want any more than that. And she was like, yeah, now you're asking me, there is some resistance around that. And it is because I've just been put into this place where I need to feel grateful all the time for what I have. Shouldn't want any more because I've got so much more than most. But actually, selling is serving. So the more that you sell, the more people that you can help. So we need to get out of our own way that, well, if you've got a certain level of income, that's it. Stop asking for more. Don't take more than you're owed, bitch, because it's going to take it from somebody else. No, it isn't. It's just going to amplify even more so, more and more and more good that you can do in the world. So that was a really interesting conversation. We went on a bit of a journey with that, and it made me feel really privileged because, like I say, something that I've always been kind of ostracized or made to feel bad about, my almost like inability to filter and hold back, actually really help somebody that is then going to really help her to step out of her own way, that is then going to help her to serve more incredible clients, that is then going to help the world become a better place. So that felt really just so beautiful for me. I was so excited about that. So, and again, so that's one of my main levels with money mindset work, just kind of reinforcing what I already knew, that new level, new devil, that that work is never done, and nor should it ever be, because we should never want to have achieved a certain level and that be it. Our soul is meant to continue to grow and expand. Something else that obviously also I've mentioned about success is down to mindset and energy as opposed to strategy. That was really kind of cemented for me as one of my learnings. The next one was around community is everything. Ladies, let's stop trying to do it all the hard way from a fear mindset that other people are going to take your ideas. They're going to want to take you in a direction that you don't want to go, and that they're going to make you feel bad or wrong or judge you or any of these things. Community is power. Like, absolutely, there's strength in numbers. And as much as I don't endorse being part of a tribe that doesn't fit, and playing small to be liked and to be part of this tribe mentality, I applaud the women that are happy to stand alone and do their own thing and speak their own truth and be an individual. I absolutely celebrate that with all of my soul and being. But equally, there is strength in numbers. So it's about finding your tribe. And what I found was that, so basically we had Danielle from Boss Babe. So for anybody that doesn't know Boss Babe, where the hell have you been and how are you in business? It's a huge multi-million-pound membership and society for ambitious women that want to essentially step into that empowered state as a boss babe. Their Instagram, their YouTube has millions and millions of followers, and there are two founders, Natalie and Danielle. So we spoke with Danielle. So I actually got to sit in a room with a woman who has made a millions pound empire in the last 5 years. Let that sink in. This isn't something that she's created over 10, 20 years. It's her life work. She did this in 5 years. She has completely collapsed timelines, and quantum leaped her success. And she puts that down to one thing, and that is community. She created a community space where women felt safe to grow, and they helped her build it. But also she found community in her partner, in her business partner, but also through her business connections. So one thing I didn't realize was that she had been called in as a guest speaker because she had been at the mastermind that I was part of. So mind-blowing. 5 years before, she'd sat on the same floor that I was sitting on, completely emotionally broke, with no direction as to what she was going to do. She had a business and couldn't think how to scale it, but knew that she was meant to do something bigger in this world. And what she did through coincidences, serendipity, like through this interesting sequence of events, found a business partner, which was Natalie, and between them, the collective female energy, they built and created something very beautiful that now today is known as Boss Babe. So I really wanted to ask her so many questions. I managed to get like a good 20 minutes with her with follow-up questions, just really diving deep into the process of how her business works. So again, I could share that with you probably on another episode, because there was a lot of masculine learnings around like having structure and strategy. But also what she said was, it's just about going for it and learning as you go. Any action is better than no action. You know, she says herself, we were very scrappy for a lot of our journey. We didn't have a big team. We were doing other things. This was almost a side hustle for the first maybe year of their business. They were testing, they were trying things out, like they've never put their ego. And she also said, like, no one is bigger than Boss Babe. So whether it's herself or her business partner or the team, it's all about the collective and just delivering a really great service, which is everything that I'm in alignment to do as well. So it was just fantastic. And again, even physically, practically, off the back of this event, I have met so many incredible women that we are now going to be collaborating on a project together, which is fantastic. So when, you know, in order to build an audience or build a business, you can build it, borrow it, or buy it. So build it is around, you know, building an organic audience, nurturing them, looking at ways to grow your platform, get more visible. Borrow it is, buy it is by investing in ads and affiliates and marketing. And then borrow it is by collaborating with others and putting yourself in front of somebody else's audience. And that has always been my favorite way to do business, because it just is. It is more fun to work with other women. It is more fun to bounce off of somebody else's energy and ideas. That's why I create community spaces in everything that I do. That's why the society is here, because I want you guys to have access to each other and in a safe space like I did on the retreat, and to be able to do that for each other, provide testimonials, give feedback, you know, on those crap days, have a space to vent in, do all the things basically. That was my ambition. That's why Sarah is here, why we have a joint venture, because I met somebody that just got it so much at a much higher level as to what my mission is in this world, and wanted to do that too. So between us both, we've lived our values, we've created a joint venture, we've now got this space, and we both pour into it. So for you guys as members, you're getting twice the benefit. So, and that felt really good to me. So community is everything. Stop trying to do it all yourself. That was definitely cemented for me. Another thing, doing nothing is the best way to do everything. So creating space as much, you know, and it was quite interesting to me, side note, but when I was back at the hotel, I was really, again, intrigued. This is the thing, as a coach, as a background in psychology, like, you almost approach people like they're like with a morbid curiosity. I'm constantly people watching. I'm fascinated by human behavior. And I saw there was like one half of us that were like, bitch, I have no kids. I am here to experience this to the fullest. I am never going to get, well, I will get this opportunity again, but I'm not for a while. So I am all in. I'm going to soak it up. I'm going to have those conversations. I'm going to have a glass of wine. I'm going to recharge my soul. I'm going to reflect. I'm going to journal. I'm going to do all the things. And then there was the other half of the women who was still, you know, physically in the environment, around the pool, drinking and, you know, occasional chats, but were still very much on their laptops and like busy doing things. And one lady, I approached her and I was like, what are you doing? Like, can I ask you a question? Like, what are you actually doing? I'm fascinated to know what in your business right now needs you to be in your business. Like, what is more important than this space and container? And she was like, do you know what? You're right. It's my team. Like, they've been asking me questions. I feel like I need to be responsive. Da, da, da. And that all comes back to, if you go back to my podcast episode last week, where I was like, how I'm going to prepare. I created space. I managed expectations. I am not available. Everything is on hold for this because I need to make the most of this container. So I managed expectations, but perhaps they didn't feel like they needed to. And what I realized was I've come away through having that space, and the other women, I've had those shifts. I've also had, you know, conversations with women who have walked away, not only doubled their prices based on conversations we've had, but tripled their prices, because I have the benefit of perspective as a coach. I can see how their skill set and their transformations compare to other clients that I've worked with, to other people that I know, and I could give them that benefit of hindsight and perspective. So those are the women that are really walking away with those quantum leaps. The ones that were head down in their laptops absolutely aren't walking away. They've really missed a layer of that process, in my opinion. So, and it can be scary when you feel like you are the center of all things and having to do everything, but doing nothing is better than doing anything when you are looking for that shift. So the other thing was around health is wealth. So there was a lady there who was a coach. We did some hot seat coaching with her, and essentially, and again, the ladies in the 9-figure elites weren't looking for money. It wasn't about their next level of income. It was, how do I now level up every other aspect of my life? Now I've fulfilled this basic need of money. Now I know that I've got it on rinse and repeat, and there's security in that. What is it that is the next thing for me? And for a lot of them, it was around investing in their health. And definitely my mentor told us that she spends over £100,000 a year on her health. So, which literally blew my mind, because I am the complete opposite of that. I'm breastfeeding, I'm co-sleeping, I'm in my masculine energy. I'm not, you know, I don't exercise, I don't eat necessarily that well. I try to eat well, but you know, definitely needs some work. I probably don't drink enough water. I do take vitamins, I do those sorts of things, but there's definitely room. So when I looked at her trajectory of her success in her business, it was absolutely correlated with the amount that she invested in her own personal health and energy. That was like, blew my mind. That was definitely something that, as a key takeaway, that I will be doing absolutely more, so making that more of a priority. So obviously there's like the symbolic stuff, getting your hair done, you're going to show up with the new energy, you will absolutely get a return on those things, but it was also around like daily practices of self-care. So not waiting for a Sunday, it's every day understanding that there is work that needs to be done and you deserve to be poured into. So that was probably the other takeaway as well, that it's around daily practices for success, and not just, like I say, one and done. It's about really conditioning your mindset for success, really leaning into these habits that you can practice daily. So that was definitely something I'm going to be taking away, and I've already got some lists of things that I need to work on around my personal health. So I would love for you to take that away as well. What can I do to really fill my own cup, to turn up as my best energy, to ensure that I've got longevity in my business. It may be that actually health and well-being is removing yourself from your business and getting a VA in. If social media is something that is toxic to you, that really plays on your mental health and depletes your energy, get a social media manager that can be that buffer for you, that will enable you to protect your energy. So one thing I've committed to is obviously a daily like morning routine, which I do to some extent on the school run. I'm great at attaching that to a habit that I already have, which is obviously taking my children to school, but I'm taking it one step further. So I've started incorporating breath work into that, and visualizations, and really like leaning into that. So I've actually been inspired to create my own signature 3-step or 3 times a day method. So when I work with clients, I get them to do a morning meditation, I get them to do an evening hypnosis, but now I'm actually creating something in the middle, which is all around raising your vibration. So it will be a 3-step wealth activation series for women that want to essentially make more money. So I'm creating that right now. It's entirely free. I will pop it in here for you guys. I would love your feedback, because I recognize that it is about every few hours, what can I do right now to raise my vibrations and to safeguard my health? And then the final thing that was just so beautiful for me, and this came from Jeanette, who was the intuitive healer who works with the execs, was something that she said, and it was around essentially businesses will be what heals the world. Like, really let that sink in. Because if you think about it, we are all problem solvers. As business owners, we are problem solvers. We are here to take away someone else's pain or increase their pleasure. Whether, even if it's a physical product that you sell, you are bringing joy to somebody's life. In, you know, right to the other end of the spectrum of us coaches who are healing and who are, you know, empowering and doing all of that beautiful bigger work. We are essentially solving problems and creating better experiences. When we do that, we are raising that person's vibrations. We are increasing the possibility of what is possible for that person. We are collectively raising the energy of those around us. The legacy of that you will never fully understand, and it's like the Maharaji effect. The more that we work on ourselves and raise our own vibrations, and then also as a business owner, the more that we do that for others, the more we raise the collective energy and healing for the world. So when she said that, it was like, wow, that is so true. Businesses will heal the world. And that just was so beautiful to me. So I'd love to obviously end on that note. I'm just going to head over into the Facebook group, but I really want that to sink in for you. Understand that what you bring to the world is so valuable. So does anybody in the Facebook group have any questions or want me to go into any more detail? I know there's a few of you watching live around any of the things. So lovely to see you all. Thank you so much for joining me. Like, I've really wanted to, I didn't want to short change anybody. I really wanted to take you through the process of what I went through on that retreat, and really like the key takeaways and learnings so that you can implement them for yourself. Oh, thank you, Alison. I really love that. Thank you. And I hope that some of those excellent exercises resonates with you. So maybe it's the symbolically, energetically, what armor do I need to remove? Or equally, what armor do I need to put on to stop everybody else stealing my joy, stealing my energy? Maybe there's something that you could do. So my mentor said that she actually has a shield like Wonder Woman. So whenever she's going into a situation or a one-to-one client or a difficult conversation, she actually like metaphorically like visualizes this shield that she puts on, so that she can essentially bounce off that energy, rather than absorbing it. She's an empath like me. We absolutely just absorb everybody's energy around us like a sponge. So perhaps there's something that you actually need to add to your armor to stop people being able to infiltrate your soul every time they're mean, or, you know, overstepping, needing more. That was really powerful. So obviously do that exercise today. Look at the goals and essentially what is the feeling or the state that you want to be in when you've achieved that goal. Start feeling that now. You're going to be able to magnetize it a lot easier to you. You'll also open yourself up to more creative solutions as to how it's possible. So sometimes we think we need to have all of the answers, we need to know absolutely everything. We need to be the driving force in order to achieve something. Oh, fantastic. I'm so pleased, Alison, that you've written it all down and it's really resonated, because this is honestly the work that I just love to do. because I am a business coach and I love the strategy. I can absolutely get into my masculine energy, and I love funnels and all of those things. But I know everything starts with your feminine energy and your ability to really, be able to execute and show up as your best self. That will far trump any strategy. Just you being visible, being authentic, being real, speaking your truth will far resonate and convert with your clients more than any amount of processes you put in the background. So that's another takeaway that I'd love for you guys to take, is that don't get so consumed by the detail and the micro details of your business. Instead, just focus on you. Just do you, boo. Just be the best version of you that you can. Shine that light. Be authentic, be honest, be open to receiving, and incredible things are going to happen in truly unexpected ways. And that's what I want for you all, because we all are here with a unique purpose, a unique light to shine, and we deserve to have that truly unique experience in this lifetime. So thank you so much for joining me. It's been amazing. Thank you for allowing me to really just kind of verbally like vomit everything that I experienced, because it's just been beautiful. And I hope you have an incredible day.